E noi tātou. Kia tau ngā manaakitanga a te mea ngaro ki runga ki tēnā o tātou. Kia māhia te hua mākihikihi kia toi te kupu, toi te mana, toi te aroha, toi te reo Māori. Kia tūturu ka whakamaua kia tīnā. Hui e tāiki e.
Kia ora koutou, Kyra and Fiona here. We're excited to be part of Link 2021 and join this publication design track. Our presentation will focus on how Threaded magazine employs 3 interconnected metaphors to introduce traditional Māori values to guide a culturally connected approach. Ako, mā te huruhuru ka rere te manu. Threaded magazine was founded in 2004 and marks the beginning of a creative partnership that spans 17 years. This relationship started from a teacher and student dynamic and has evolved to a connection and collaboration that is best characterised as 2 parts of a whole. It's important to note that the characteristics of the teacher and student dynamic are fluid and interchangeable depending on the context of the project and the partners that we work with. My return to Te Tai Toki Rau has a profound impact on all of the projects we undertake, including those with local hapu and iwi. This, coupled with Fiona returning from Washington DC for a role at AUT, has reinvigorated our connection to place, people and education. This geographical reconnection has afforded new research opportunities alongside studio collaborations. Learning is a constant feature and collaboration is an integral method underpinning all the work we do together. Each cultural project we're involved in offers an exchange of knowledge, of sharing, and of growth in regard to Indigenous cultural principles and protocol. It is important we acknowledge the relationships and contribution from whānau, advisors, and elders which continually informs our understanding of cultural context and new direction. From the outset, Threaded magazine has been committed to enriching a discourse between education and its relationship with the wider creative community. We identified that the best way to bridge the gap and influence emerging practice was to offer insights into the practice of established contemporary practitioners, to focus on a people-focused publication about practice. Whakamana, mā te whiritahi ka whakatūtuki ai ngā pūmanawa a tangata. Like all things handed down, Threaded magazine began with the creation of an idea, born of dreams more than being based in the reality of business. It was conceived through the passion and drive that come only from enthusiasm and naivety. Hand in hand, we grew and our journey began 20 issues ago. Threaded magazine uses the construct of the interview as a critical device to explore the nature of a dialogue that exists between a practitioner and their mahi, and to shed light on the intersection between diverse disciplines and offer personal insights into practice and research. By situating the practitioner as both interviewer and interviewee, profiles are reflective and reflexive across research and professional contexts. A diverse range of discourses and editorial scenarios continually inform, challenge, and reinvigorate our editorial and design approach. The term publication platform was introduced to discuss the potential of printed matter in disseminating ideas beyond the boundaries of traditional media. In the practice report, The Site of Publication in Contemporary Practice, published in the special edition of the Scope Journal. This article surveyed a series of publication projects analysing distinctive editorial models as venues for discussion, collaboration, presentation of practice and reflection. Mahitahi. E hara takutoa I te toa takitahi, engari he toa takitini. Central to this presentation is the role of collaboration to lead content, examining how creative relationships with guest profiles and production partners affect editorial practice and design outcomes. Threaded magazine works collectively in partnership with a range of groups and has formed long-standing relationships with advisors, production associates, educational partners, featured creatives, interns and contributors. The guidance and engagement with kaumātua, kuia and other cultural advisors has enhanced our understanding of history and heritage. This learning has changed our editorial and design thinking and fostered cultural connections. Te ao huruhuri, the turning of the day or the light. The 16.2 project. A critical turning point arose through the invitation to participate in the international publication entitled Project 16.2, commissioned by Fedrigoni Papers for the Frankfurt Book Fair in Germany. The studios invited to participate had a 16-page section to express the creative identity of their respective countries. Suddenly, we were leading and presenting ourselves as people and practitioners, the inverse to our focus on creating a venue to present the research and practice of our creative community. Hence, 16.2 created an opportunity for a process of self-discovery. This inversion offered us an opportunity to translate the tradition of oral storytelling into graphic language, conveying the essence te ihi of who we are, to ignite a spirit of cultural heritage, original traditions and narratives. With this in mind, we started with a welcome. Nau mai ki te ao o te rama aroa, ti hei wā mauri ora, to introduce an international audience to our cultural heritage. The idea was to take readers on a hikoi through our unique geographical location and pay homage to the Māori myths and legends that speak to the heart of our history and people. We created a sequence of geographic and iconic indicators which represented whenua and taonga, and designed an explanatory index to close the section. Our creative approach was collaborative. We crossed countries, attended the book fair in Germany, and embraced generations to share knowledge and develop an expression of our culture that stayed true to the fact that our studio is comprised of Māori and non-Māori. After 16.2, the kaupapa for edition 20 started from the place of connection to acknowledge where we began. The process in collaboration with Cultural Advisory Ropu, Ngā Aho, Kaumatua and Kuier offered us a way to embody and develop a consciousness, a framework that adhered to tikanga Māori and matauranga Māori, while establishing an editorial kawa protocol for the publication. The collaboration with Ngā Aho, with Desna Wānanga Scullum, Karen Wilson and our manuhiri affirmed how much we had to learn. Ngā Aho and Te Puni Kōkiri guided and informed our knowledge of the unique identity and landscape of Māori creative practice and practitioners. This clear kaupapa inspired us to think about why we do what we do and what we believe in. These collaborations affected the practice, and as a consequence, our actions changed. We sought references that extended beyond aesthetic bias and graphic design conventions to think about concepts and visualization being informed by cultural and historical precedents. The motifs created in the lead-in sections for edition 20 were modern interpretations of traditional images inspired by nature and mythology. For example, the motif of linear bone carving that introduces our Pai Tahi Galleria section represents a triple twist to depict new shoots growing together. The stylized patu used on the kaupapa whānau associates lead-in spreads is representative of an instrument of war that introduces our associates who stand beside us in battle. We tried to identify motifs that symbolized a connection to the whakatauki and kōrero within each section. The meanings behind the patterns on the cover of edition 20 are integral, as they introduce our manuhiri and speak directly to the kaupapa and content of this issue. All of the patterns created were contemporary reinterpretations derivative of taniko, tukutuku, tāmoko and rāranga. Each one was specifically created to reflect the kōrero of each manuhiri featured, and we liked the subtle way the cover links to their lead-in spreads. Each pattern operates like a personal signature, and the final cover represents the collaborative ethos of this issue. We created a tukutuku pattern derivative of kaukau, symbolizing strength and unity to embody threaded as a holding platform, a venue for dissemination of practice, cultural expression, visual identity and dialogue. The pattern created for Elizabeta Hinemoaheta was derivative and symbolic of Hine Te Iwaiwa, guardian of weaving and knowledge for future generations. In the stories, we know she is also referred to as God of Potential. Mātanawa Clarke Langdon, Karen Wilson and Rangi Kipper let us repurpose patterns that were significant to them. Issue 21 is currently in development, and the kaupapa for this issue has grown out of initial responses to COVID thematics of connection and isolation. These early editorial ideas have been advanced by a collaboration with established practitioners, whānau, kaiwhatu, tuhunga, whakairo, kaumatua and kuie, to expand new cultural connections and pathways. Conceptually, we are incorporating both visual and structural cues from the multi-layered beginning story of Te Kore, the void of potential, Te Pō, night realms, and Te Ao Marama, the realm of light. These existences are recited as whakapapa and are passed down in whae kōrero as a recital proclamation of the foundations of the Māori worldview. This narrative of whakapapa then continues into the separation of Ranginui, Sky Father, and Papatuanuku, Earth Mother, the varying stages of light being released into the world i te timatanga, in the beginning, is explored visually and through sound, the waiata ko te pū, to bring edition 21 to life.
Inoi tātou. Kia whakairea te tapu, kia wātea ai te ara, kia turuki whakataha ai, kia turuki whakataha ai. Haumi e, hui e, tā ki e.